to you this day.
You do.
All
We
right.
rap.
There you go. Okay, good evening, everyone. It's time to start our meeting. Let's pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, this time I'll move the control to Madam President.
Good evening, everyone, fellow Toastmasters, and to our guests. Our club mission, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Our values are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. We are in for another great club meeting. At this time, we do have two guests that are here. If you don't mind, I know you're not new, but you are guests. If you don't mind standing and just sharing what brought you back. Give your names and.
My name's Gavin, and my brother brought me back. Thank you. My name's Zach. I just want to come back to the last time. So,
Awesome. Thank you. And at the end of our meeting, if you don't mind, sharing your thoughts about your experience tonight. Okay, so we have a couple of announcements to make to our club officers. We do have our next TLI coming up January 15th. It will be virtual. It's very important that everyone attends January 15th, and we'll get more information to you. Also coming up is our International and Humor Contest, which will be held in March.
that's the deadline.
That's the deadline, sorry, for the area contest.
We need to do ours beforehand.
Y'all got that? So just be around maybe the end of January, sometime in February. We really need to have our winners for this club to compete in the area contest. So international speech, humor speech to our new individuals. Not quite sure if you will be ready for, you have to have so many speeches in place before giving that speech. We have very capable new members that will be able to, but I just wanted to let you guys just know that before we come up on it and you realize that you won't be able to participate this time, but there will be others. Just hang on in there. And also want to remind everyone, if you have not RSVP'd for our Christmas gathering / social, please RSVP to our wonderful Mr. Greg Allen. Okay. Any questions? It looks like everyone who is on the agenda is here tonight. We are ready to rock and roll, and I'm excited to introduce to you our Toastmaster of the day, the great Mr. Lee Holiday.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Woo! I'm working on it. Andre. I'm trying real hard. I can pull on it every day to try to get it long enough. But everywhere you look, you're beginning to see signs. You drive through the neighborhoods, homes are decorated with Christmas lights here and there, and every once in a while you go through and you see somebody else has put up their Christmas decorations. been hearing Christmas songs on the radio. What's a radio? Does anybody play the radio anymore? A few of us. But maybe you listen to Pandora or Amazon Music or something, but you can listen to Christmas music. It is time for it. Let's do it. Let's have a great Christmas. I love Christmas decorations. Now I have to tell you a little story. A few years ago, we knew we were not going to be home for Christmas. We were living in Texas. We knew we were going to be spending 2 weeks in South Carolina. And so my wife made the unconscionable decision to not put up Christmas decorations. My heart was broken. I was so sad because I love to see Christmas trees and blinking lights. We had this set of Christmas lights that were programmable. I could sit there with the control and I could make them do all kinds of things, and I just love to do it. I'd sit there with all the other lights off and I'd make them do different things, chasing lights and blinking different colors and fading in and out on colors, and I just loved it. But however you decorate for Christmas, I hope you're going to embrace it with vigor and enthusiasm like I do. It's certainly a joyful and a jovial occasion for us to be able to celebrate Christmas with abandon. It awakens the child inside of us, and we can just do it with everything we have. Christmas. I'm sure we're going to talk more about that tonight, but for now, I see on the screen my good buddy, Mr. John McKinney. He is our general evaluator tonight. I will yield control to you, Mr. McKinney. Please introduce your evaluation team. John McKinney.
Well, hello, what's up, and how you doing? I hope everybody's doing awesome tonight. I see a lot of familiar faces on this evening, and I'll be evaluating the meeting as a whole. Only thing I won't be evaluating are the speakers. I'll basically be talking about the meeting from start to finish. And to introduce everyone to my evaluating team, to introduce to the club, to my evaluating team, I'm getting my words all jumbled up, forgive me, is my grammarian word master of the day, which is none other than awesome Mr. Bearcat. Told ya. Take it away, Bearcat.
Tonight I'll be the word master or grammarian for this meeting. As a grammarian or as a word master, I will, first of all, the word of the day. The word of the day is jovial. It means markedly good-humored and describe people and things that are cheerful or full of joy. The word is jovial. Hope I'm pronouncing it perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will be looking at usage of the word and some crutch words like but, also, whenever they are unnecessary. I will do as much as I can. Also, I'll be the main contributor of this. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Bearcat, and I'm sure you're going to do a great job on tonight. Next is our timer. And that is none other than Mr. Excellent, Andre Tate. Andre, you can have the podium. Tell us what your job is.
I'll be your timer for tonight. This is my first time being a timer, and I would be timing the table topics, which would be 1 to 2 minutes, and at 1.5 minutes, I will hit the green.
No, 1 minute. Great.
At 1 minute, I hit green. Okay, I'm sorry. At 1 minute, I hit green. At 1.5, I hit the yellow. And at 2 minutes, I will hit the red. And then you'll have another 30 seconds to finish your speech. And then I'll also be doing the timing for the evaluation, which are 2 minutes. So at 2 minutes, I hit green. At 2.5, I hit yellow. And at 3, I hit red. And then you have another 30 seconds to finish, and then we would do the speeches, which would be 5 to 7 minutes. And so I hit the green at 5, the yellow at 5.5, no, at 6, and then at 7 I would hit the red, and you have another 30 seconds to finish. All right, I'm your timer for the day. Thank you.
Andre, if it's any encouragement to you, when I came back to Toastmasters in 2016, my first meeting, I came as a guest. My second meeting, I joined. My third meeting, which I was an official member, I did my first speech. And by my next meeting, I was the general evaluator. So you're going to do a very good job. Don't be hard on yourself, my friend. Next is our vote counter. And the vote counter has a very tough job. She's got to tally all the votes. And this is none other than Mrs. Toastmaster Extraordinaire, the Madam President, LaShane Goins. LaShane, take it away.
Yes, I am your vote counter tonight. I will collect votes after for the best speaker, for the best table topic speaker, and for the best, what's that word I can't ever get out? Thank you. I don't know why evaluator. Those of you who are online, if you don't mind sending your votes to Mr. Bernie Holiday, he will pass them on to me. In here, we will have a basket going, or to Mr. Lee Holiday, one or the other. He will forward those votes to me. And in here, we will pass around one of those black baskets to collect the votes. Guys, please vote. Your vote matters. Thank you.
Thank you, LaShane. And I'll hand it back over to Mr. Lee Holiday.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. I'm trying, I'm working on it. I promise I'm working on it. Christmas time is a time to be joyful and jovial. I keep confusing those words, but they both apply. You can be joyful and jovial at the same time, right? And so I am. Can you tell? If not, I'll work on my enthusiasm, see if I can get it up a notch or two for you. Was that somebody telling me I'm good? I know it. Our first speaker tonight is an established member of our club. He's a current club officer, but he is working in 4 different paths at the same time. I'd get confused trying to do that. Out of Claire, I would. And he's at different places in all those paths. I would just get so jumbled up in my brain. I do good to keep one path going. But Mr. Greg Allen, he is in there. And tonight, he is working from the dynamic leadership path. His project is the second project, the first speech in that project called Evaluation and Feedback Number 1. Greg wants to share the story of his most famous, favorite Christmas ever. Come along on a journey with Greg as he looks back over 58 years of Christmas joy with a speech titled, The Best Christmas Ever. Mr. Greg Allen.
Merry Christmas. Are you all jovial because it's Christmas time? I know I am. It's one of my most favorite times of the year. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, our guests, please join me as I travel down memory lane, exploring 58 years of Christmas. Now, not all Christmases are memorable. Some just kind of come and go. Some bring about memories of good times. Some maybe not so good. I won't bore you with every single Christmas I've had these 58 years, but I would like to share just a few with you. The very first Christmas I remember was in Japan. I was 4 years old. My mom gets me up one day and she says, come on, we're going to Toyland. Now, if any of you have ever been in the military or grown up on military bases, Toyland was like Toys R Us. I'm in, let's go. So we get to Toyland and she said, I want you to show me everything that your older brother would like for Christmas. Well, that's an easy task. So I'm pointing this out and I'm pointing this out and I'm saying, oh, he'd love this. Oh, he would love this. Everything, you know, all the neatest toys. Well, Christmas morning I awoke and all the toys that my mom and dad gave me were all the toys that I'd picked out for my brother. Oh, how cool is that, man? I really racked up. So that was a very fond memory to have of Christmas. The next year, however, 1968, we were traveling back from Japan, back to the States. We got held up in San Diego. We're trying to get to South Carolina in time for Christmas. I'm mad. I'm 5 years old and I'm mad. I was like, how in the world is Santa Claus gonna know where I am? There is no way he's gonna be able to track us and have everything wherever I am, because I didn't even really know where I was going. But somehow or another, I woke up Christmas morning at my grandmother's house in StarTech, South Carolina, right behind Tuckapaw Baptist Church, and all the toys were there. Man, it's another great Christmas, right? Oh, it's just wonderful Christmas. The following year, however, 1969, Great Falls, Montana, Christmas, and my dad is in Da Nang, Vietnam. And as a little 6-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid, I didn't understand Vietnam. I just knew it was a place where guys went and sometimes died. So that was one of those Christmases that I'm not too fond of. So as the years go by and, you know, my dad comes back from Vietnam and we travel back to South Carolina eventually, some of those Christmases just kind of get tossed to the wayside. I don't remember them that well. But in 1972, we had moved to Duncan, South Carolina. And early that fall, before Christmas, my father boarded up all the basement windows so you couldn't look inside them. And he put a padlock on the top of the basement door that led down to the basement and forbid us to take one step into that basement. And so for months, we're like, what in the world is going on in the basement? Has he got a dead body in the basement or something? I mean, I don't know. So we wake up Christmas morning and my sister, man, she's racking up. She's got a TV and a stereo and all the things that little girls like and new clothes. And my two brothers and I, we're sitting over here thinking, what's going on here? Why aren't we getting anything? And I think there might have been some underwear and socks and maybe a pair of gloves or something to that effect. And so we kind of are wrapping up Christmas and my mom turns to my dad and she says, haven't you forgotten something? He said, oh yeah, I have. And he gets up and he runs to the other room and he comes back with 3 boxes, all identical size boxes, all wrapped in the same paper. He sets one down in front of me, one down in front of my brother, and one down in front of my oldest brother. He said, all right, go. Well, my middle brother, he rips the paper and takes off running. I'm like, what do you do? What do you do? My oldest brother, he just took off immediately because the other brother took off. So I'm still sitting there like, do I jump up and follow them or do I come back or what do I do? So I finished unwrapping the box. It's a helmet. I'm like, why in the world is my dad giving me a helmet? Well, then it occurred to me, there's something in the basement that you can ride. Right. So I take off to the basement where both my brothers are. There sits 3 brand new dirt bikes. Oh man, I hit the jackpot, right? That was an exciting Christmas. Cannot tell you the countless hours I spent with my brothers riding through the woods on our dirt bikes. So you fast forward a few more years, 1975. I'm begging for a drum set. Like, Mom, if you give me a drum set, I will be the best kid ever. I will never misbehave again. Please give me a drum set. I wake up that morning, lo and behold, there's a drum set. Man, was I lucky and blessed. It was that same drum set 5 years later that I performed on for Jimmy Carter, the President of the United States of America. I still get chills thinking about that day. Man, what a wonderful Christmas that was, 1975. But then, as I mentioned, there are years that aren't so favorable. A few years later, many years later, I guess, we've lost loved ones. Others have moved on. Not the best of times, but we make do with what we have. But one of the things that I can tell you and share with you is every single Christmas for 58 years, and God willing, 59 in a couple of weeks, my mother, who's 83 years old, shares the story of Jesus Christ's birth. He is the reason for the season. So I don't really have a favorite Christmas. I'm anticipating in a couple of weeks being my most favorite Christmas. I hope you all can do the same. Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. What a great speech. Mr. Timer, please give us 1 minute on the clock for everyone to write their notes. If you're here in the room, please use this brief ballot and brief evaluation form to write comments for Greg and for the first speaker there, and pass those around to him in one of the black baskets that we'll send around for you to do. And if you're online, then send a text message or an email to Greg, giving him feedback about his speech. Fair? Okay, good. Get set, go. While you're doing that, I want to talk about some of the other things I enjoy about Christmas. A few years ago, we visited a nativity scene that was being done by a church in Greer, close to where my daughter and her family lived at the time. And Bernie's daughter, Addie, was with us, and we went through this very realistic scene where they had the robes dressed as if they were back in biblical times. And they had everything set up with stables and vendors and store merchants and soldiers and all the things that go with the Christmas story. And some of the things they just elaborated on and made it really kind of fun to go through. It was a walkthrough nativity, and there was interaction with the people who were participating in that nativity scene. So that was really good, a really special time. I took picture after picture after picture. I think I posted like 50 pictures on Facebook after we got through with that event. But I had so much fun watching my granddaughters have fun. I was listening to Greg's speech and I was thinking, the best Christmas ever is always this Christmas. It's just this Christmas. It's being in the moment. We don't need to spend too much time dwelling on the past or too much time thinking about what could be in future years, but just embrace the moment, embrace the present. and enjoy that. I'm going to assume we've had a minute now. We're going to go on to our second speech. Tonight,
Okay, I just stopped.
not only do we have we had one incredible speaker already, but we have a second incredible speaker, one of our most notable speakers from Toastmasters and Spartanburg Toastmasters, Mr. John Abercrombie. He is wait. Say, you think when I give his name, that's the end of my introduction. It's not. Hold that applause. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Christmas does not look the same to all people. Traditions, believe it or not, vary by individual, by regions, and by families. Tonight, we're going to take a look at what Christmas means to our speaker and how it differs from what you feel. It not only looks like Christmas, it is Christmas. Welcome, Mr. John Abercrombie.
Rapid fire question and answer. If I ask you about Christmas, what's the first thing you think of, LaShane?
Jesus.
Gavin,
The manger.
Jamil,
Took mine.
Big Cat. Okay. Out of Christmas, the last thing I think about are presents, because that happens on Christmas Day. Christmas Day is a jovial time of the year for most people, but I have to have a little bit of Grinch in my Christmas. It starts coming on because people then are wondering what I'm going to get, what's going to happen. But I have some traditions that are maybe a tad bit unusual, because to me, Christmas is not a day, it is a season. It starts with the smells, the sights, the sounds. What would Christmas be without the smell of conifers, pines, firs, whatever in the house? At this point, there's my wife and I. I don't see the need to chop down an entire tree for two people, but I'll go out and I'll get twigs and put in the house to get the aroma of Christmas. To me, Christmas gets that time of year because I always had a bushel of apples, a bushel of oranges, a bushel of tangerines. And what in the world would Christmas be without kumquats? I cannot, in my wildest dream, imagine a Christmas without kumquats. My day on Christmas Day, and my kids have this annoying habit of wanting to get up in the middle of the night to open presents. No, I'm sleeping in today. That's that part of the Grinch sneaking out. It makes it enticing. They're wondering what's going on. My wife even comes in and gets in part of it. Get up. No, I'll get up later. But that's a tradition that we have so that they can be there in that anticipation. Probably a tad bit cruel, but when we wake up, we really get it on. My day has to start with fried oysters. There is not a Christmas that I can imagine without these delicious morsels.
I'm coming over your house Christmas.
And while I'm cooking them, I do have to slurp down a few of them before they hit the pan. So,
Yeah, good to eat, man.
so what we have are certain things and traditions. Now, when I went from South Carolina to Washington State, I used to inquire, what are the individual things that you have at your house or that you do on Christmas or during the Christmas season. And that was a great way to get to know people, to have an interaction with people, to see different and unique things occurring. That to me is a great part of Christmas. Shopping, I hate. So I set one day aside and I go shopping for everybody. And I'm probably like a wild man as I come through the stores, because that's going to be one trip through. Now, usually I'll go to Spokane or Seattle or somewhere and shop. I don't know the stores. I don't know what's going to be there. And I do my shopping, I get it done, bring it back home. Other people, my wife, for example, starts the day after Christmas, shopping for Christmas the next year. And she also has a habit of coding gifts. And the gift is not necessarily what's in that box. Can you imagine the look on my daughter's face when she thought the present she was wrapping for me were actually for her? Still think about those things. But those are the unique things that happen. I have to have a Christmas pageant in there somewhere, because this is a season. It's a season of celebration. I also look for a place where I can be an anonymous giver to somebody. Don't know who it's going to be, but when that point touches me, I do it, and I try to do it anonymously. And believe it or not, that fuels a great year, because I can look back at those times and understand that the season, the reason is giving, not receiving. And we can give so much anonymously in our everyday life that that's what sparks and inspires me during that season. But like I said, Christmas is not Christmas unless you have grapes on the stems. Sometimes I have to look for them. But these are things that bring back those childhood memories that I had. These were things that were there. It is a revival of thought. It's a renewing and looking forward to the new year. The decorations are great. As we were driving around looking at Christmas lights, a ball hit my car. I don't know where it came from, but I got out of the car, looked up, said, "Kids, I think he's in the neighborhood." And I got back in the car and they said, "No, we don't want to see any more Christmas lights. Oh, these are beautiful down here." That's the Grinch sneaking out. But it was a remarkable Christmas nonetheless. So what it is a spirit, a life, something that you have within you that you can give and share with others. Unique though it may be, this is what Christmas looks like.
Wow. Mr. Timer, please give us 1 minute on the clock and a visual signal when that 1 minute is up. We'd appreciate that. While you make your comments to John Abercrombie, write your comments, send them around to him. For our folks online, I ask you to send those via text message or email to John so he'll have your feedback as well. John's speech made me think about something. Years ago, my wife and I had responsibility for the children's church where we attended. And one of the things that the church had the tradition of doing was providing bags of fruit to all the children the Sunday before Christmas. And we went out and we bought all kinds of fruit, apples and oranges and tangerines. And you had to have things that weren't squishable. Didn't buy any kumquats. I don't know if I've ever eaten a kumquat. I don't know what a kumquat is. You'll have to tell me after the meeting.
Bring us some kumquats.
But we had a great time putting those bags together with candy and fruit in them to give to the kids. It was so much fun doing that. It made for a very special Christmas time. Mr. Timer, please give us a timer's report on our two speakers.
Well, Mr. John Allen spoke for 7 minutes and 24 seconds. I'm sorry, Greg Allen. And Mr. John Abercrombie spoke for 7 minutes and 15 seconds.
Very good. Thank you, Andre. Now we know how John Allen and Greg Abercrombie did in their speeches. Please vote for the one you think was the best speech. And we're going to pass around the basket to get that. And I'm going to cast my vote and get it in the basket whenever it comes around, wherever it is. And those votes go to Miss LaShane Goins. Thank you very much. And while we're getting ready to transition this meeting, I want to tell you one other thing. John's speech made me think about shopping for Christmas. And of course, shopping for Christmas last year and this year has really taken on a different dimension because we got to doing so much more shopping virtually. And you get all these packages delivered to your home or to other people's homes more than we ever did before. And it's sort of taken the angst out of being in a crowd trying to shop, but it also takes away something that is fun about it. However, I have to tell you this one quick thing before we go to table topics. Every year, we get all our Christmas shopping done. My wife would do it in partnership with each other. But her gift was something that I always had the most difficult thing figuring out. What do I get my wife for Christmas? And my daughter loves to tell the story about how we would come to South Carolina because we lived away for so many years. We would come to South Carolina and I would say, Katrina, I need you to go shopping with me. And we'd be out on Christmas Eve. Yes, Christmas Eve shopping. And my daughter got to where it was part of the Christmas treat for her to help dad go Christmas shopping for mom's gift. And it was kind of special for me too. Our table topics master tonight is one of our brand new members, and I am so excited. I tell you what, I am just tickled to death with Andre and Jamil and Randy, and they're just jumping right in and doing so many things. They are just hitting the spot on filling the roles, and they're making themselves into fabulous members. Tonight, Randy is our table topics master. Please welcome him with gusto and joviality.
So tonight, the wonderful thing that our Toastmaster of the day has picked is it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And I wanted to pick some questions that tied into the theme. So starting out, there's a lot of debate between when Christmas should start being decorated and music should start and everything else. People are always ticked off because it happens before Thanksgiving. So I personally would like to ask LaShane, if you could tell us, when do you think decorations and music and everything else should come up for Christmas?
Thank you so much, Randy, for that. When do I think decorations and music should start? Well, I tell you, I hate to share this piece of information about me, but I am a Grinch. I am a Christmas Grinch. Why? I don't know. I think that I'm older now, and I really feel bad for my children because I have boys, and my youngest one, he begged me all weekend to put up the Christmas tree. And I did not want to put up this Christmas tree. He has been asking me since before Thanksgiving to put up this Christmas tree. And I promised him that I would put the Christmas tree up Friday. I did not want to put up the Christmas tree. A couple of years ago, so we've always bought regular, like the real trees. And one Christmas, I got so sick, but I spent money on that Christmas tree and it was not coming down. So what did I do? I just sniffled and I sniffled until I couldn't take it anymore and the Christmas tree came down. But back to Friday, we finally got that Christmas tree up. And do you know how long it took me to put that Christmas tree up? Because now we have artificial Christmas trees. Literally 5 minutes. Literally. So Shane, when should it start? I think that it should start whenever. I love Christmas music. I hate Christmas decorations. I bought lights years ago and it's just still sitting in the pack for about 5 years in the garage and it hasn't gone up. And that's a shame. So y'all pray for me that I become a better mom and decorate for my sons. Thank you, Mr. Tabletop Toastmaster.
So since LaShane touched on the decorations, which are obviously pretty to look at, Mr. Abercrombie talked about the decorations as well in his speech. Bernie, I want to ask you, what in your head should Christmas look like traditionally for you?
I've been asked about Christmas traditions. Traditions like kumquats and oysters, apparently. I've never eaten a kumquat either. I also don't know what a kumquat looks like, but I can tell you one thing, I do not like oysters. They are the snot of the sea, sir.
Sleep over.
But to me, a traditional Christmas, you know what? We have this image in America of what Christmas should look like. And in fact, one of our great American artists actually created this image. And it is, I believe, on display in New York now. That person is Norman Rockwell. He actually created a whole series of different images of what Christmas should look like. And they'd be Santa Claus, families gathered around a fireplace, sitting down to a bountiful Christmas dinner. But to me, all of that is just extra. If it makes you feel great, then do it. If it makes you feel like this is home, then do it. But I'm going to tell you, for a good traditional Christmas, you need two things. You need family, whether that be kith or kin. You can see me afterwards, I'm going to tell you the difference. And you need love. You have those two things together, don't need anything else. It doesn't even matter if it's not Christmas anymore. Because once you have those two things, there's nothing to worry about.
I forgot to do it after the first question. Are our guests fair game tonight for questions? Okay.
And he knows all your secrets too.
So for my next question, I would actually like to ask, what is the greatest gift that you have ever given or received, Cheryl?
Great. Thank you so much, Randy. That's a great question. The greatest gift that I have received or given. That's a tough one. We've been talking about family and gifts tonight, and as most of you or all of you, I'm getting prepared for the holiday season. I think, to be honest, the memory that sticks in my head is when I was a little girl, I wanted a little doll called Baby Go Walk. I don't know, I must have been 5 years old, and I'm not like Greg Allen. I'm not brave enough to tell you how old I am, so and tell you what year it was. But anyways, I wanted this Baby Go Walk, and it was this doll that had batteries in it, and when you stood her up, she would actually walk. And that's all I wanted. And I did get her that year, and I remember it. And someone, my dad probably took a picture, and it was the baby walking towards me, and I had my hands out like this, you know, ready to embrace the doll. And for some reason, that memory of Christmas just always sticks in my head. And I'm a little bit emotional today. I'm just very thankful for all of the memories, and that I had and the opportunity to, you know, have a loving family, you know, loving parents, and good Christmas seasons. This Christmas is changing literally moment by moment. My husband's mother was scheduled for a triple bypass surgery this morning, and they did an ultrasound of her heart, and they found out that she was not strong enough to go through the surgery. So it was postponed. And she's been in the hospital in Charlotte for about a week and a half. So things have been a little bit stressful this holiday season, but again, I'm looking to the Lord for strength and healing for my mother-in-law. So that would be the greatest gift of all, is that God would heal her, take care of her, and that she would make a good recovery. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. And I hope that she gets better and you all are able to enjoy Christmas with each other. For my final question, all I want to ask is, Gavin, what makes Christmas special to you?
What makes Christmas special to me? I'd have to say spending it with family. I love waking up in the morning and seeing mom and daddy still in bed and going in there and waking them up. Love to do that, even still when I'm 15, but love waking them up. Mom was always the first one up, but it's always daddy that you can always get. Just love it. So I'd have to say spending time with family.
Now I turn.
Now you ask for time.
Oh, can I get a timer's report?
Well, as I give my report, it may not be as jovial as Mr. Lee's speech, but time, I have LaShane at 2 minutes. I have Barney at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And I have Cheryl at 2 minutes and 19 seconds. And I have Gavin at 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we will cast our votes for the table topics speakers. If you're on Zoom, send it to LaShane.
Oh, if you're on Zoom, you can send it to me.
Okay, sorry, send it to Lee, your votes on Zoom, and we'll give those to LaShane. Now okay, and Now I would like to hand it back over to our general evaluator.
You read it, John.
Okay, I'm sorry. Now we are down to the evaluation portion of our meeting and evaluating awesome speech that was given by Greg Allen. Such a marvelous job. Is none other than Bernie Holiday. Bernie, come forward.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters, and of course, Mr. John Allen. John gave a speech today about the 58 years of Christmas and talking about which Christmas was the best one. How many speeches have you given in Toastmasters? It hasn't been 58 of them. I don't think, not quite yet anyways. But here's the thing that's difficult as an evaluator is that Greg keeps on going up and 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 up. He doesn't fall back a little bit and give me something easy for me to pick on. Greg, your speech today was excellent. It was one of the best speeches you've ever given. It was very difficult to find faults. In fact, so difficult to find faults, I didn't really find any. But I do come to you with some advice today. I think the speech you gave was excellent. If I could do anything to make that speech better, it would be take the contrast knob and turn it up a little bit. Now, to explain what I mean by that, a photographer looks at contrast as the difference between how bright the brightest part of an image is and how dark the darkest part of an image is. If something has no contrast, you just see a muddle of brown or gray. And that's it. It looks like that right there. If you have a lot of contrast though, the image starts to become clear, but if you have too much, you have way too much definition and everything just looks way too outlandish. So I want to turn that contrast knob up just a little bit. And how we do that is by taking your emotional cues to the next step. For example, you today talked about your 5-year-old self being mad. You have an opportunity there, sir. Be your 5-year-old self being mad. I want me to get it. It's a great point to be jovial. And again, when it comes to your teenage years and you were getting socks and underwear, stretch that out a little bit. Say, I opened the gift and it was socks. I hate socks. I don't want socks for Christmas. There's your opportunities there to kind of dial it up. And that way, when you come back around and talk about having your grandmother here for another Christmas, that's where the contrast comes in. Because you have this nice, really bright point to say, this is my emotional point that I'm talking about. You have the contrast to be able to say, this is how I feel about that. This is how I feel about being able to have my grandmother with me for another Christmas. Was it your mother? Mother, okay, I apologize. Having that there allows us to feel the way you feel. And when we try to communicate with each other, emotions are always that key. So I am looking forward to having an even more difficult time evaluating you in the future, because your best speech ever is always your next speech. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bernie. And my apologies to Greg and John Frey. I was thinking about Greg Allen and looked at John Frey's name and came up with John Allen. My apologies. Our next speaker was my most beloved nemesis, Mr. John Abercrombie. I don't like that man very much, but he gives great speeches. And the person that's going to be evaluating him, and John Frey, I hope you do a great job butchering him. And I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend, Mr. John Frey.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Not real sure. I can't see any guests, but it looks like we have one. So welcome to the club. Hope you'll come back and visit us real soon. So I think you'll enjoy it. John, great job as usual. I couldn't agree more. It is all about giving and not receiving. But hey, from the very beginning, I thought you excelled at making me and our audience feel comfortable. I think by you setting the tone with a conversational type approach, I think it brings everybody in and we're able to connect with you a lot more. I thought that was probably one of the best things about your speech was your vocal tone. When you talked about Santa and the Grinch, I thought that was really catching at the very beginning. I know I was able to follow you throughout the speech. One thing I also thought about was, one thing you could challenge yourself next time, or not sure if you have much to work on, to be honest, but maybe move around a little bit. I thought your hand gestures were great, but maybe move around the area right there at the front of the room, maybe move around a little bit. But other than that, your clarity was great. You spoke clear. Your vocal variance is always phenomenal. Going back to when I talked about Santa and the Grinch, when you implemented that in your speech, it just kind of helped tell your story. And your eye contact is phenomenal as usual. No notes, couldn't see anything that you were looking off. Just eye contact was great. You went over your time a little bit, but only by 10 or 15 seconds, if I remember right. And your hand gestures, I talked a little bit about those. They help tell your story. They help you emphasize different words, your point you're trying to get across. I thought that was exceptional. And your audience awareness, couldn't be in the seat tonight where you guys are at, but for what I could see on the folks I have virtually, everybody's locked in and zoned into what you're talking about. And your confidence level, I don't think you're lacking any confidence. I think you're comfortable in what you're trying to do and the points you're trying to make. And your interest level was great. I know I was engaged, but it went along with the theme. And your humor was great as usual too. Being able to express some emotion and those type of things, just kind of, to me, be honest with you, showing emotion during speeches, it really connects me even more. I'm able to follow you a lot more. But overall, great speech. Another exceptional job. And maybe look at maybe moving around a little bit from time to time, just to become more comfortable and that type of thing. But overall, great job, and as usual, and look forward to hearing the next one. So we appreciate you, John. I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. McKinney.
Awesome job, John Frey. Can I get a grammarian's report? Mr. Bearcat told you.
So, thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. What a great meeting we had today. I was struggling to find any crutch words from our speakers. I'm not sure if I'm missing something. On the contrary, I heard word of the day way too much. And I'm glad.
No such thing.
For me, at least, the word I chose used too much. But after the speeches, the crutch words started coming up. We have like 25, around 25. I'm not sure if I missed a few, probably would, but around 25 as, and other crutch words like but, unnecessary buts, and also, or But other than that, we had a great speech. I also heard two expressions that I really liked: revival of thoughts and your best speech is your next speech. I really like those expressions. I probably heard them maybe the first time today, or maybe not, but it was interesting. That's all I have for grammarian's report. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Great job, Bearcat. Can we get a timer's report, please?
Well, for our evaluations, Barney went 3 minutes and 43 seconds, and John 3 minutes and 7 seconds.
Okay, let us all take a moment to vote for best evaluator, which are Bernie Holiday and John Frey. And those of you who are voting virtually, send your votes to Bernie or Lee. Which one?
Lee.
Well, you heard him. You heard the man. Both of them, actually. You heard both of them.
Send it to Lee.
And I will continue on with my report up to tonight's meeting. To start off, Bearcat, you did an awesome job, as always, at starting the meeting on time. Great job. And of course, LaShane, she's always, I mean, she's literally the epitome of Madam President. Great job, LaShane. You know, I got to give you a hard time, LaShane. You know, I got to give you a hard time. Tonight's theme was very fitting for the season. We laughed a lot, which me personally, I really needed on tonight. Great. I mean, there was, I mean, just a jovial experience on tonight. A lot of laughter, a lot of emotions. I mean, connected with everyone. And Lee, when the perfect theme for tonight to fit the season. Of course, I'm not gonna give an evaluation of the speeches because they've already been evaluated, but I do want to say this. Greg, since the time you joined Toastmasters up until now, wow. Wow. Your energy level in your speeches is just getting better and better every time you get behind that podium. You did an awesome job. And of course, I'm gonna go to the nemesis whom I love dearly, but I don't like him very much. Mr. John Abercrombie, you know I love you, man. Great story on your speech on tonight. I really liked it. You always manage to capture our attention. Evaluators. Bernie, you did one of the most awesome jobs I had ever seen in your evaluations. You gave Greg some great nuggets on tonight, and especially when you was talking about him envisioning him as a 5-year-old kid, how he should have pitched a little temper tantrum on when he was giving his speech. That was a great job, Bernie. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't have seen that. That was an awesome job. John Frey, you've grown tremendously, my friend. I see a lot of growth in you. You did a great job evaluating John Abercrombie, because with John Abercrombie being a very seasoned Toastmaster, which was a good experience for you, one thing I've learned about evaluating someone who's been in Toastmasters a long time and who is a seasoned speaker like Lee Holiday or John Abercrombie, it challenges you as an evaluator. And John, you filled those shoes. You did an awesome job tonight evaluating John Abercrombie, because he's pretty hard to evaluate, but you accepted the challenge, and guess what? You won. Awesome job. And Bearcat, with your grammarian report. Great job, my friend. You did a great job on tonight. And grammarians have a very, believe it or not, they have kind of a hard job. I should know. When I first became a grammarian, I didn't know what to hear or what to do, but I soldiered my way through it. And Bearcat, you did the same thing. Overall, the meeting was great. We had a great turnout on tonight. And let's continue to have a jovial time on tonight. I'm gonna turn it right back over to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day, Mr. Holiday.
Bearcat, can we get ribbons, best Toastmaster, best speaker, best evaluator, best table topics? I appreciate it. Great. So it is beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Have you noticed as you go from place to place, whether it's at home or at work or whatever it might be, it is just a great time to be sure that we acknowledge what's going on around us. Like I said a few minutes ago, we have to embrace the moment, live in the present, be intentional about expressing yourself in a jovial way to boost your own spirit and all those around you. Do you know enthusiasm rubs off on people? The more you're enthusiastic, the more other people will be enthusiastic, and when they're enthusiastic, it'll rub back off on you and you'll get more enthusiastic, and that enthusiasm just grows and grows and grows till Christmas Day and beyond. It is my honor now to ask our guests to stand and give us some feedback as to what you thought about tonight's meeting. I'm going to start first with Gavin. Gavin, come up here. Watch yourself talk on the camera right there. See it right there? See it? Watch yourself talk.
Thank you, sir. The thing that I really loved most about the speeches was hearing about Greg's wonderful time as a child growing up and hearing about Mr. Grinch. You know, sometimes we all need a Grinch in our lives, you know. But overall, I really loved the stories, and it was very inspirational and juvenile. I think that's how you use the word. Yeah, jovial. Thank you. But other than that, it was pretty good. Thank you.
We also had another guest, the younger of the brothers. Let's welcome Zach to the lectern to give us some feedback.
I really liked the stories that everybody told and about Christmas and everything, like how they were when they was younger, and give some feedback on everything. I like coming here and learning everybody's opinion about everything, and that's about it.
Yeah, thanks, sir. My agenda says that the next item to be addressed is ask the vote counter to present the meeting awards. Please help me welcome Miss LaShane Goins.
It is my honor and my privilege to announce our winners tonight. We take pride in our winners and we take pride in voting. And the best table topics goes to Mr. Bernie Holiday. Congratulations, sir.
That tantrum did it. Got him what he wanted. Great.
I'm capturing.
And next up, our best evaluator goes to Mr. Bernie Holiday. And tonight, our best speaker goes to Mr. Greg Allen. Congratulations.
So how are we gonna capture the picture, Bernie? I'm just gonna take a screen cap. Okay, so you'll go back and capture that after the fact. Yeah, just like I did last week. All right, very good. All right, so smile at the camera. Woo! All right, thank you. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I hope you'll embrace the season, the reason for the season, Jesus Christ, and make sure you let everyone know of the jovial way that you feel every moment of every day. Meeting adjourned. Have a great one. Oh, what? Next, the agenda, the next agenda for next time. Oh my, look at that picture. Who is that? Who is that? So Bernie, can you bring up the agenda for next time around?
I just did.
Oh, I don't see it.
Working on it. Hang on.
It's coming.
It takes me a minute because I was preparing.
I know. I get it. I get it. So one of the things I will say is Jamal apparently went in and did some agendas this week, and that's a good thing. But he put some of our newer members into roles they may not be quite ready for. So I will go in and make some adjustments to those for the first couple of weeks in January. So don't get freaked out, Jamil, because he has you down as Toastmaster today. We will get it fixed, I promise. So I don't have my glasses on. Our Toastmaster next week is Mr. Randy Riddle. Woohoo! And who are our speakers? I can't read it from here.
John Abercrombie and Shane Gould.
John just spoke tonight, so we might or might not make an adjustment to that. We'll see. But for right now, Cheryl, John, and LaShane are our speakers for next week. Are there any questions, any other business to address? I think Greg may want to see how many of you want to make a firm commitment, RSVP verbally to him right now. Anybody?
So everybody in the room has already responded.
Okay, so.
Except for John. Are you gonna come?
Yeah.
You
And I'll
bringing that lovely wife?
Well, I'm gonna bring the one I brought last time.
I got you. I won't tell her you said that. And Bernie, it will let you know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very good. Any other announcements, Madam President, anything?
Yes, our club officers meeting, well, sort of kind of like.
Thursday night.
Thursday night, so please plan to attend.
What time? 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock is in.
8 o'clock on Zoom, club officers, be there, be square.
Amen.
I guess I'll be square.
Be square.
It's been great seeing you again. And once more, we will consider our meeting.
But before you adjourn, I want you guys to consider booking your next photo session with Mr. Bernie Holiday.
And I will add to that and tell you that he has done my headshot recently. Remarkable job. Certainly made me look better than I do in real person. So he did a great job on the headshot. I got a lot of compliments from his work. So I'll give him a shot.
If you're in business or have a need to promote what you do in any way, headshots are critical to promoting who you are and what you do. Go ahead, John.
No, it was you.
Oh.
You wanted to hear it twice.
Oh, John was over there doing his fingers like this, so I didn't know if he was trying to tell me something or I wasn't speaking his sign language. May I adjourn the meeting now? Adjourn.